And we are back for Tuesday's 3-game NBA DFS slate. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. Again, we'll be breaking down the 3-game slate in this video. I also make content for XFL, NFL, DFS, and for Prize Picks, which is a player prop site. If you guys are not familiar, you can use the code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. I'll have it linked down below. But basically, you pick player props 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 20, and you can win up to 25 extra money. So give it a try. Take advantage of that free money. And if you're looking for more in-depth content, you can check out my Patreon, also linked down below. Recap of tonight. So it's halftime right now of the Kings-Warriors game. I have a chance to cash. I mean, shoot the Nets to the moon. That's all I'm going to say, man. Shoot that team to the moon. I had Dinwiddie over fantasy score on Prize Picks. He shot like 5 of 20. I had Mikal Bridges over shot attempts. It's the Cam Johnson show. I took Royce O'Neal over points and assists. 2 of 11 shooting, 0 of 7 from three. So just come on, man. I'm tired of that team. Team's been losing me money recently. Just shoot them to the moon. Hopefully the 76ers just sweep them. I'm tired of the Nets, man. So my lineup, relatively chalky lineup. I ended up playing Monk. I wasn't happy about it. Played Herder too. What I was debating on was Cam Johnson versus Wiggins. Obviously, I went the wrong way because Cam Johnson had the career game. I played a low on Sabonis, who struggled at first, but kind of picked it up there to end the half. Draymond and Clay to round out my lineup. So again, I built a relatively chalky lineup. So that's a recap there. We'll see if I can get in the cash for tournaments. I think if Sabonis has a really big second half and Fox kind of struggles, then I have a decent chance. This Fox is really popular. If Fox is a big second half, I would say I'm probably not going to cash. But yeah, Dinwiddie, man, I'm just tired of the Nets. I'm tired of the Nets. We did talk about how I thought Bridges was a good pivot off Dinwiddie in tournaments. If you want that route, that worked out in a big way. But so that's a recap of everything there. Hopefully we can get the cash. And then, let's talk about this 3-game slate. So we'll start off with Atlanta and Boston. And on the Atlanta side, tough matchup. And this is the game I would say of the 3 that probably has the most blowout risk. Trae Young, 9K, I think will be relatively low on. Shot 5 of 18 last game. Obviously not the best matchup. But I think the positive here for Trae Young, if you're looking for tournaments, is he will be, in my opinion, pretty low owned. Same with DeJounte Murray. So Murray had a big game last game. If you're looking to get different in large field tournaments, I think these Atlanta guards are playable. Because I would say if the game stays competitive, you're going to see a pretty decent game from one of those two. So don't completely rule out the Atlanta guards. I think both, again, more just contrarian plays for sure. But I would not be shocked if the Hawks keep it competitive and one of those guys has a really, really good game. Clint Capella at 5'8", I'm kind of just indifferent on him. His splitting sentiments right now with Okongwu, I think he's going to play high 20s. A guy that, decent rebounder, decent shot blocker. Again, I kind of think he's just fine. This group of value also looks pretty similar to me with Bogdanovich and Collins and Bay and Hunter. Hunter's dealt with foul trouble back-to-back games. He's the guy I probably feel the most confident about minutes-wise. Collins' minutes can fluctuate, but he's a guy that decent offensively. Sadiq Bey did get extended that one game because of massive foul trouble for Hunter. He's the one I'm the least confident in minutes-wise. And then Bogdanovich, he's going to provide that spark off the bench. Probably play mid-20s minutes. I would say probably he would be my favorite of that group, but yeah, this value group, Bogdanovich, Collins, Bay, Hunter, all look relatively similar. Okongwu at 4-2, I think that is a fair value play. He should play around 20 minutes. So I don't mind at that price point there for Okongwu. And then to round out the rotation, Jalen Johnson will get some run, 14 and 13 minutes. He's been aggressive offensively. He's a decent rebounder. So I think you could do worse for punt plays. I'm probably not going to do it, but he is definitely playable. Moving on to Boston. So Boston, I would say, probably my favorite team to target on this slate, assuming the game can stay competitive. Tatum and Brown both kind of had subpar games last game because it was just those other guards that kind of took over. But I guess Brown had a pretty good game. But 8-5 for Brown and 9-8 for Tatum. I like the ceiling of both quite a bit. This is probably the best matchup for any of the teams in the slate. And then this is where the chalk's going to be, in my opinion. And if you're playing an optimal lineup cash games, you want to be into a couple of these guys. Smart, Horford, White. I think all 3 look great. I expect, low to mid 30s minutes from Marcus Smart. Derek White, similar. He played 38 minutes last game. He's been playing really well, especially recently. And Al Horford probably played, he played 38 minutes last game. I don't think we can expect that again, but if he's going to get mid 30s minutes, and he is too cheap. So Smart, Horford, White, I think all 3 look really good. Brogdon would be your GPP pivot. Did not have the best game, 1 of 6 shooting, and we know in the playoffs especially, recency bias takes a bit more of an effect here. And you just look back at like a couple games ago, Brogdon can go for 40. So he is a really interesting tournament play to me because I think he's going to be a lot lower owned than Smart and White. And we mentioned that with, Dorian Finney-Smith. I don't know what Dorian Finney-Smith finished with, but I know he started really strong as a pivot off Royce. I think Royce ended up outscoring him, but you kind of get the idea, right, in tournaments. I think Brogdon would be that pivot off of the chalk in White and Smart and Horford. And then Rob Williams did only play 22 minutes, but I think he's still playable at 4.9, a decent rebounder, decent shot blocker. So I think he is firmly in play. And then you saw Grant Williams get a DNP. It was actually Sam Hauser as the only other guy in the rotation. I'm not going to go there, though. So basically just the starters plus Brogdon and Rob Williams are where I'm interested in. Boston going to run a tight rotation in a great matchup. So probably my favorite team to target on the slate. New York and Cleveland. This game's going to be played at a snail's pace. For New York, you do have Josh Hart doubtful. So that actually is pretty significant because Josh Hart's a big part of this rotation. With him out, I think what's going to happen is you're going to get more run for Barrett, more run for Grimes, and probably a little bit more run for Quickly, maybe a little bit more run for Toppin as well. Randall 8-6, Jalen Brunson 7-9. I think factoring in price, I actually would prefer Brunson, who got in random massive foul trouble last game and only played like 8 first half minutes. So it's an awful spot for them, but you should get high 30s minutes from both Randall and Brunson. Barrett, I think, is your tournament play. He has really not played well of late, but he should get a minutes bump, you would think, with Josh Hart doubtful. So he's an okay contrarian play. Quickly at 5'7", kind of throw him that same bucket. Did not play well last game, but still a guy that can provide some offense and should get a little more run of no Hart. I think Grimes probably gets the biggest minutes bump. I think he probably plays mid-30s minutes. He's had a good season so far. Did not have the best game 1, but at 4.7K, I actually think he's an okay value play. Mitchell Robinson, and Isaiah Hartenstein, they're going to split the center position. 4K for Hartenstein, 5.4 for Robinson. I think the ceiling's a bit higher on Robinson, but both are reasonable plays. And then Toppin should round out the rotation, played 14 minutes last game. Just really a dart throw. All right, we'll move on to Cleveland. So Cleveland, well, they ran their 2 guards just insane minutes game 1. 44 minutes for Donovan Mitchell in game 1 and 43 minutes for Darius Garland. If you get that type of run again from those two, sign me up. So I definitely like Mitchell. I definitely like Garland. I know Garland didn't do a ton last game, especially in the peripheral stats department. I'll say a bit of an outlier. Donovan Mitchell is going to be the go-to guy, and we saw it last game, especially in the playoffs. But I don't think we can expect that type of performance every game for Mitchell, right? So I think some of these other guys have to step up a bit, like a Garland, like a Mobley, who was horrific. I took us over Prize Picks that day, 4-13 shooting, just so tilting. But I think he's okay. Jarrett Allen played 43 minutes. Again, just huge run for these Cleveland, main guys. So if you give me 43 minutes again from Jarrett Allen, I think he's way too cheap. Not a ton else I really trust outside of those main 4 guys. Okoro started, played 23 minutes. He's playable, I guess. LeVert only played 18 minutes, shot 1 of 7. I do think, though, if he plays or shoots better, he could play mid to high 20s minutes. Rubio at 3-6, barely played. I think he could get a DNP, to be honest, tomorrow. My boy Chetty played 19 minutes. I have no confidence in his minutes, but he's cheap. And you saw a little bit of Dean Wade. So, yeah, nothing I really feel confident in for value for Cleveland outside of the main 4 guys. And finally, the Clippers and the Suns. And the answer is yes, I'm still on full tilt mode from when I played 5% Westbrook last slate, and he shot 3 of 19, and he still won for 45. But if I just get an average shooting game from Westbrook, I win all the money. But no, 3 of 19 shooting for Russell Westbrook. I once again like him for tournaments. I don't know if I'll get him at 5% again, but I think he's going to play high 30s minutes here. And we know he's well north of a fantasy point per minute guy. You can't expect him to shoot that bad again. So I definitely like Westbrook, and I have interest in Kawhi as well, who went off last game, played 42 minutes, almost played the entire second half. The 2 main guys for Clippers I like. Norman Powell, again, how did the faders know he would play so low minutes? Well, he's been averaging like low to mid 30s, and then only plays 23 minutes last game while playing well. I think it's just Eric Gordon just had a pretty decent shooting game. So I think I probably wouldn't play both Powell and Gordon, but I think there's a chance that Gordon, if he struggles, he only plays like 20 minutes, and Powell plays like 30-ish. So Definitely some negative correlation there with those two. I don't think I would play them both together. Avicii Zubac, I mean, he played 30 minutes. So if you give 30 minutes again to 5K Zubac, he is too cheap. Off the bench, Marcus Morris played 22 minutes. Once again, he was awful. Mason Plumlee played the backup 5. I was a little bit surprised they just didn't go small at all. They ran 2 centers out there the entire time. If they're going to do that, and you're going to get high teens minutes from Plumlee, I like him for value. The concern is I still think there's a chance they could go small, but they didn't last game. And then Nick Batum started, played 21 minutes, didn't do a ton, but he is sub 4K playable. You'll see some Bones Highland, probably not enough for me to get to him, and a little bit of Terrence Mann at 3.8, who played 24 minutes last game. I think he's okay. Covington did not play last game. I thought there was a chance, honestly, he was going to start, but they did not end up going that way. And then finally, the Phoenix Suns. So Suns factoring in price also look good. They ran their main guys a ton. Kevin Durant, 9-3, played 45 minutes. That is wild. So I like KD once again at the price point. Devin Booker, 8-7, also looks good. Played 43 minutes. Again, just huge minutes to these main guys. 39 minutes for CP3. I think is one of the better plays in the mid-range, assuming he gets that run again. And DeAndre Ayton at 6'2", 33 minutes also looks good. So I like the main 4 guys here for the Suns quite a bit. I would say they're right there with the Celtics as one of my favorite teams to target on the slate. So really like the main 4 guys. And Torrey Craig, if he starts again, sign me up for that. Dealt a bit of foul trouble. I think he's going to play, close to 30 minutes if he starts again. So I do like some Torrey Craig. Now you have to, be careful. He's not going to shoot 9 of 12 again. Like that's a bit of an outlier. But 4.2K, yeah, I think I have some interest in him. Campaign questionable. We'll see. I'm not even sure if he plays, if he'll be available. If not, you should probably just see like Shamet playing some backup point. Okogie barely played last game. I can't go there. Ross barely played. You saw both Biyombo and Lando play. I'm not messing with that. Ish Wainwright put a few minutes. I'm not playing that. So I guess if I had to play someone off the bench for the Suns, it would be a 3-7 Shamet who played 24 minutes. But I don't feel great about that. So that is going to do it for the video, guys. As always, I really appreciate all support. Been getting a lot of new support in these DFS videos, so continuing to pump them out. We'll get the prize picks video up as well. Hope you guys have a good night. Good luck on the slate. We saw a couple people had some really big wins the other day, tweeted at me, so I wanted to congrats those people. Should have had it up on my screen on Twitter, but let's hope a few of you guys can get to the top tomorrow with the leaderboard, and we'll see you in the next one.